designers. Whether you're saying yes or I do, shop now for the year's best prices and selection. April 4th through 6th, Sartor Heyman Jewelers, South Point Pavilions.
Husker fans, the message is clear. Nebraska softball is here to dominate. They're off to a hot start, and they're bringing that energy into Big Ten play. On Friday, March 21st, Minnesota comes to Lincoln for a weekend series in Bowling, and they need Husker Nation in the stands. Don't miss your chance to be part of the action as they begin conference play. Get details and tickets at huskers.com/tickets.
Forget the lame excuse this year. Your boss already knows why you can't make it to work for those magical 2 days in mid-March. Join 93.7 The Ticket on Thursday and Friday at Buffalo Wings and Rings at 68th and O for March Mayhem. Come early on Thursday and get a ping pong ball with a lucky team on it. And stay all day for prizes throughout and buzzer beater upsets. It's March Mayhem with 93.7 The Ticket for the NCAA tournament at Buffalo Wings and Rings, 68th and O.
I'm Chief Dave Engler. When a fire truck hits a pothole with 12 tons of fast-moving equipment and crew, it's a problem. On your ballot in April is a measure to continue Lincoln's quarter-cent sales tax for street improvements. A vote against eliminates the street funding. A vote for will not raise your taxes and keeps the funding in place. And better roads means faster response times. Learn more at LincolnOnTheMove.com.
We use our Lincoln streets every day, and so do first responders. But visitors and out-of-town commuters also do. A quarter-cent sales tax for streets passed by voters in 2019 makes those commuters pay about $6 million a year to improve streets. On your ballot in April is a measure to continue it. A vote against means no more funds from commuters. A vote for will not raise your taxes, and commuters still pay. Learn more at LincolnOnTheMove.com. Paid for by the City of Lincoln.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Wellman Plumbing at 402-434-2400 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-434-2400.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contests, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket. Garage doors can break down or quit working at the worst times. At Doors Plus, they understand that a broken garage door sometimes means repair and not replace. Sometimes, all you need to make your door like new again is a few bolts, a realignment, or even a new balance. Trust the pros at Doors Plus to handle your garage door repair the right way so you can get on with your busy schedule. Visit them online at DoorsPlusLLC.com or give them a call today at 402-590-5800. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
Welcome to The Drive with A.D. Raff and Ahman Green. Former Husker football national champion, speaker, and author, Aaron Davis.
Nebraska will win the national championship. The Cornhuskers beat Miami. It is history, 13-0, and bring that trophy back to Lincoln.
Former Arena Football League quarterback, former head coach of the Capital City Crush, and guru of Husker football history, Chris Raff.
25 straight wins for the Cornhuskers. One of the most dominating stretches in college football history.
We may have seen one of the best teams in the history of college football tonight.
12-year NFL veteran.
He's got some speed to go with strength.
Huskers and Green Bay Packers Hall of Famer.
Shovel pass to Green into Vikings territory. Finally brought down.
And University of Nebraska eSports coach, Ahman Green.
Look at Green, all by himself. 20, 10, touchdown.
Sponsored by Doors Plus on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We built this city. We're not doing this. We built this city on rock and roll.
Welcome. How you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling good.
You feel good.
Oh,
You know
gosh,
what? Whoa.
The voice is
I'm
there.
talking about your voice. Did you get some tea yesterday at all?
Not one
This
bit.
morning, you need to go see our barista over there at the mill. Folks, you can come down here to the mill as well because you know what? It's before Snowmageddon starts later tonight. Come on down, get some coffee, get some tea. Nick, you need some tea for that voice. You're nursing it. What are you
I've
drinking?
gotten the coffee. I don't know. It's some she built this up. I think it's. I told her specifically. I said I just need coffee, but it's too warm outside to have hot coffee. So I was like, I just need something cold. I don't do the whole cold brew thing with like water, so I don't know what she made me, but it's delicious. Dude, tastes like it's just cold coffee.
You sounding like the white Barry White right now.
Well,
you ever heard of Barry White?
I have. Here's the honest truth. I know there's been a lot of speculation about what my night consisted of yesterday.
You know what? It's no one's business.
That's right. That's right.
You're a grown man.
I'm a grown man. Did I go to McKinney?
How you want it, Jake?
Did I go to McKinney's 3 times? I sure did. And shout out to our amazing friends at McKinney's because they are awesome. But no, I mean, it was St. Patrick's Day. We had a good time and spent some time with my friends. I did. I'll say it right now. I did run into Ellie, our production intern for the morning show. That was it.
2 colleagues, man.
2 colleagues, and she ordered a shot on my card.
Oh,
so
on your card.
Ellie was sneaky with it. I'll be honest. Ellie was sneaky with it. But also, I was telling Bill this story this morning. I said, Bill, I was like, you know what? I realized that. So they have the block party there at McKinney's and stuff, which is so fun. I mean, it's so cool. But I walked in and I had a beer in my hand or whatever. And I thought to myself, yeah, I'm good for about 10 minutes. Then I'm ready to go. and if it wasn't for my friends that I was there with, my buddies, I would have left in about 10 minutes. I would have had 1 beer and probably left because it's just not my thing. I cannot I was the one that was like, hey guys, let's go to McKinney's. Let's go to the block party. And I was like, let's meet up at 8:30. And I was like 8:30 got closer. I started to regret my decision because I was sitting there and I go, what am I doing wanting to leave the house right now at 8:15 p.m. to go downtown? But it was a good time.
Yeah, a good time.
And McKinney's, the people are great.
Had a good time. You know what? And good on all the businesses downtown that were able to make some income and drum in some business over the St. Patrick's Day weekend. I know McKinney's kicked theirs off on Friday. Their block party Friday concluded last night or early this morning, however you want to put it.
Yeah.
But good for them. Hope everyone got home safely last night, etc. It's good to see, though. Obviously, they had state basketball 2 weeks in a row. That definitely helped with the downtown income as well. So that was good for the economics down here.
They're not having a spring game, so they got to make up that money somehow.
I want to get on that one sec. Yeah, Dave Renew. Good morning, brother. He goes, my darling, I can't get enough of your love, babe. Yeah, you know that. Let me hear you say it. No, you can't sing it in Barry White's voice.
Not intentionally. No,
I wouldn't happen.
I was at about 12:30 this morning. I'm kidding. I joke. I just have to play into the bit that people talk about me on the morning show when I'm not there to defend myself. Did I send a picture to Jake? I sure did. However, if you don't know this about me, I have a lazy eyelid, and the lazy eyelid makes me look a little flustered 24/7. I don't have a lazy eye. I have a lazy eyelid. That's what's going on with my left eye.
So what's wrong with the right one then?
I don't know. I was dehydrated from what I was just dehydrated.
There you go. IQ Crew, the selection show had a tribute for Greg Gumbel. Rip. Is that him in driving in the drive opening on the AG's touchdown calls? You know what? I'm not sure if that's Gumbel or not. I'm going to check that out. I'll have to ask AG when he comes back.
Well, as the person that put the open together, I cannot remember. I don't think it is. I don't think it. I think it's Mike Tirico.
That could be Tirico.
I believe it's Tirico.
That could be. It's one of those two for sure, though. IQ Crew. Good morning to you, brother.
Yeah.
Magnum PI, what's up? He goes, too warm outside for hot coffee. Nick, what in the bloop is wrong? What are you talking about?
Well, it's 45 degrees. It's about to be 80 degrees today.
I'm drinking my hot coffee right now.
I know.
I drink it regardless of
I think it's a thing with age, though.
Whoa.
Because
saying, man?
I'm saying that you're older than me.
Well, I've been drinking coffee this hot since I was in college.
Well, I'll drink. I think it has to be below freezing for me to. I don't know. I can't stop sweating this morning either. So
This morning?
Yeah.
It smells like a distillery in
No,
here.
stop it. No, it does not. No, it does not. No, the worst part is going back to the whole, like, I wanted to be there for 10 minutes and leave. Is like, I had 3 drinks. Like, I had 3 drinks and I was like, I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to shower. I'm ready to get out of here. Because I also knew I had to do the show this morning.
You had to do it?
We get to do the show
There you
this
go.
morning. Sorry. I know.
You keep alluding to how much you did or did not partake in. I mean, it's like,
Well, because I feel like I have to. No, I don't feel like I have to defend myself.
you a grown man.
I wish to defend myself because I wake up to text messages talking about how people are sharing my business on the air. Nothing. Jake's not even watching. Jake's not watching.
Garage Jeff, good morning. He pulled the age card out. Laugh out loud, kids.
I'm 24.
Hey, Jeff.
I'm
He
24.
did. He goes, well, you're older than me. He said it with a little. You said it with your chest too, man.
Yeah, I was pretty confident in it.
You said it with your chest.
I have confidence that I can get out of the door quick enough if you start coming at me. So
Nick,
we'll be
I'm
fine.
gonna tell you this, man. Another 2 weeks of that decompression table.
That's right. You're back to full strength.
Hey, I'm
not gonna know what's gonna happen.
I want to give a shout out to the Body Lab for the needling, which I'm going to start doing that again because I'm seeing some progress. Big shout out to my boy Kyle and Grant at
Spine
Spine
and
Sports, man.
baby.
They put me on that decompression table. And Matt Freeman, if you're listening, he's got a company here in town. So I appreciate you. Just appreciate your encouragement, man. The messages you've sent me regarding the back issue and all the folks that kicked in. Of course, our oh man, my mind is escaping me, but it'll hit me again. But I did that decompression table last Friday, Nick.
Yeah.
And literally, man, if you've never had it done before, folks, is basically just some of you know what I'm talking about. In case you don't want to explain it, it's laying flat on your back on a table. Your top, the part of your torso is, your whole body's down, and they kind of strap you in there to make your arms, you don't move. Then they attach, that pulley around your waist.
Cord, yeah.
It's basically a cord, and it slowly pulls your lower extremities very slowly to stretch your cord, your tendons, to try to even it out. But they stretch you up pretty good first to get you prepped for it. Nick, you've done that how many times?
A lot. I used to do it every week for about a year. But what's one thing is that the table that you lay on, it's basically cut in half.
Yes.
So that way it pulls apart and you just slide with the table.
Mm-hmm.
And so, they put, it's a lot of pressure that it's pulling on your body to separate. And what was the not even freakiest, but I suppose that's an okay word choice in a good way, is when I remember doing it and you can hear your spine go as it's going, and it's like you get up from the table, you have to like kind of get your bearings because you're a little wobbly at first, but it creates so much. Because my issue is that my discs in my back, because I've talked about this, I have degenerative disc disease in my spine, just from baseball and things like that. And so what my issue is that my discs over the course of just natural time, they basically stack on top of each other. And so when the reason I have to have the decompression table is because it takes those discs and it spreads them out evenly. And so it's, because if you don't have it, it now, AD, like it's spine pain and bulging discs and a lot of people will suffer from this, is like horrible. And so I found out when I was a senior in high school that I have degenerative disc disease, which at the time they were like, Nick, you probably have the spine of a 55-year-old. And so it was like, I need to figure out a way to get this fixed. Well, because of Kyle and Spine and Sports, they were the only people. I tried physical therapy. I tried other things. Nothing worked. And because of Kyle at Spine and Sports, this is a big reason why I swear by him, is that they're the ones that allowed me to continue playing baseball, but then also kept me from having spine surgery as a senior in high school, which would have been insane to think about.
The people at AMI, I appreciate them. They did my MRI a week ago today.
Yeah.
They got the paperwork in pretty quickly to Sport and Spine. And the bad thing is I'm not able to see a spinal doctor until April 16th because he's booked up that much. However, what Kyle and Grant, his team at Spine and Sports, said, hey, man, let's try this. You might have to be avoided altogether because the overall thing is to avoid going under the knife.
100%.
So right now, yesterday was my first time I worked out since January.
Yeah.
I did a light stretch in February 22nd. I was looking at my app. But yesterday was just all body weight. I did do some curls with the bands, but I don't want to do, and he said not to do anything that's going to stress your back, with anything heavy. So I was able to do that. But First time, it felt good. I'm sore this morning, but you know what, Nick? It's that good sore now, not that painful
100%.
sore. And so you can tell I still got that limp, but it's improved. I can feel it. It's not so debilitating. And I want to say to all the listeners, I appreciate you guys and girls that listen to us, because for this 2 hours for the past almost 90 days, Nick, was 2 hours for me to forget about it a little bit. You know, I get up and walk, but dude, it was debilitating, man.
Well, and I mean, I'll say this, like, I think a lot of times chiropractors get a bad rap at times. And that's where, I mean, now I'm thankful because you can attest to it. Like another reason why I do enjoy and appreciate the people at Spine Sports, by the way, it's on 70th and Pioneers. The reason I appreciate them so much is it's not all right, let's pop you, let's get you out in 8 minutes and we'll see you next week for
again.
AD, we're in that room for like 40 minutes.
Right. They're working on it.
I mean, it's not just a chiropractor. It's not just like, hey, let's try to pop these things back in place. There's a lot of stuff that they do involving muscles. They've worked with a lot of former Huskers. Kyle's worked with Rex Burkhead and Maddie Simon, the former Husker basketball player.
Number of them.
I mean, there are Hannah Worth and things like that. So these guys are specifically designed for athletes, specifically designed for a little more of specialized spine, with the back, with the sciatica nerve, things like that they can do things that it's not just, hey, let's let you on a table, let's put some impulses in you, let's pop a couple things and we'll be good to go.
Nick, I was in Syracuse, New York 2 weeks ago today, I think it was. Yeah, it was, because I flew out on Monday. And literally, I think I slept about 2.5 hours. Nice hotel. It's called Turning Stone. I had been there like 10 years. But when I knew the hotel, I knew it's a beautiful hotel, but that bed is going to be too soft.
Yeah.
Dude, I think I slept about 2.5, 3 hours maybe. I went from the bed, then I got in the chair that was in there, that little chair. Then I had a couch. I was looking at the floor, but I'm like, I don't care how nice this hotel is. I ain't sleeping on the floor.
No.
But I seriously thought about throwing the blankets on the floor so I'd have some firmness on my back.
It would have been like me in New York.
Yeah.
Where Jake made me sleep on the floor. People forget that. We've just allowed that to go on, huh, Jake?
Man, the more I'm starting to think about and cataloging all these instances you've had, Jake's kind of rough on you, dog.
Yeah, Jake's kind of harsh.
He's kind of rough on you.
Yeah, he decides to talk behind my back.
That Tuesday morning, though, dude, it was about 3:30 in the morning there, so 2:30 here. I literally had tears in my eyes, man, because it felt like someone was literally stabbing me in my nerve with a knife.
Yeah.
And I just got up. I'm like, dude, I literally prayed. I got to get some sleep here.
Yeah.
So the relief, again,
that's
long
the thing.
story short.
There's nothing to replace it. Like, that's the thing, is like, we can drink caffeine all we want all day, but if you're not sleeping or you're not just feeling comfortable, there's a lot of really, really good doctors and chiropractors and physical therapists, and each one has their pros and each one has their cons and things that. But man, I'm glad that, I mean, I found, like I said, Kyle at Spine Sports and the rest of the team have been spectacular for the last 5-6 years that I've been going there.
You know what, Matt? Good morning to you, brother. Matt, it's just, thanks for talking highly of chiropractors out there. My wife is a chiropractor, and I've learned so much of what they do, more than just a crack. They take all the same courses that an MD does and learn all the same things, except they don't perform surgeries. Matt, appreciate you, man. Appreciate what your wife does too, man, because it definitely helps, man.
Yeah.
More than you know.
So Matt,
kudos to your wife, man.
Yeah. So we got this question from Derek in a car. Has a transmitter in Firth gone down? Your signal just went away.
Ooh.
Yeah. So unfortunately, we've been working through that. We have electricians on site. They're hanging out. They're working with us. So we're available on the app. Tell all your friends.
YouTube.
Come check us out on the app. Make sure you download that. That's still going on. A lot of this has to do with things out of our control. I've talked about it on air before. Sunspots play a massive role in signal and connectivity and transmitters. And so a lot of times if you're a block away from the station and we're fuzzy over the FM, big reason why is because of sunspots. It's because of the way that the sun is reflecting off of our transmitter, off of satellites, things like that. Things that are way above my pay grade that I don't even try to understand because there's science involved. I just try to leave that off to the side. So make sure you just tell people, hey, download the app. This is why we always push the app, is because if anything ever goes wrong with our FM dial, then you're always going to be able to find us on the app, on the YouTube streams, on Facebook, this, that, and the other. All those are always going to be available for you. whether it's sunspots or whether our transmitter, blows up, whatever it is. So we're always going to be available out there.
Nick, quick question. I want the listeners, we got a few minutes on the segment. What do you think of the Nebraska game day? Is that what it's called?
Like the Husker games?
Husker games.
Instead of the spring game?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think I have not been as concerned about the cancellation of the spring game as I think a lot of people have been. The part that really bumps me out is that economic impact, right? Like, I think we understand and kind of have an idea of what this place feels like on that Saturday morning. And down in the Haymarket, like, the spring game is one of them where people will leave it early, and that's fine, but they're not leaving downtown early.
Right.
They're staying downtown. They're hanging out, especially if it's nice weather. Now, the last couple of years, let's also be 100% honest with ourselves, hasn't been the nicest of weather. It's been crappy. It's been rainy. There was snow a couple of years ago. There's a very good chance, as we're understanding these last couple of weeks, of these highs and lows of where we're getting 80 degrees, and then the next day we're going to get 5 inches of snow. Like, we don't know what it's going to look like in mid to late April. And so I'm not too concerned about the cancellation of the spring game. I think I don't want to blow it out of proportion. I think that the thing I'm most disappointed about is now, for us specifically in this business, we're going to lose out on some potential talking points. But I think in all reality, it's not a huge deal for the football team. I don't really care about the Husker games. I really don't. And then, I'm more disappointed about the economic impact that it's going to have on downtown Lincoln.
Nick, I agree with you on the economic impact of it. Also, I'll say this: I think you're danged if you do, danged if you don't. I feel there's a lot of people that where the spring game is the only time for them to be able to go to a game from an economic standpoint.
Yeah, 100%.
If it wasn't for my brother Mark that worked for the university, I mean, he was the equipment manager when he was in college.
Yeah,
I was able to get access because of him.
I was one of those. We were one of those families. Well, and a big part is because we were playing select baseball and softball. Me and my sister were all summer and even into the fall with fall ball, that we never went to games, and we never needed to. But guess what? And I know it's not the same now, but it's back then. I remember going to the ticket office across the street from the stadium to the west of it was where the ticket office was. I remember going there at like 10 a.m. the day that they went on sale. And I remember we'd always try to get first row seats, and all seats at that time were $10.
Yeah.
Every single seat.
And if you said just say no pledge,
you
got in for free.
And I would go down to the field, and that was the coolest thing ever, was because everybody was on the field, and we're doing the whole like say no to drugs, alcohol, all that stuff. And it was cool. Like that was my first. And that was my introduction to Nebraska football in person.
Yeah.
And that was back, though, when the game was an actual game, and you had Jamal Turner doing flips into the end zone and things like that. So, I mean, that's one of my core memories was Jamal Turner. We were sitting in the first row in South Stadium when Jamal Turner, as a true freshman, did a flip into the end zone when he scored a touchdown. And he ended up getting flagged for unsportsmanlike conduct on that play. But that was a core memory for me when I was 9 years old.
I would just text me and him were just going back and forth with a text a couple weeks ago. Jamal, man, Jamal's doing good, man.
Had a great catch against Michigan State too, in East Lansing.
Little brother, little JT is doing well. Yeah, I get it from both ways, man. My biggest thing is this, and I know this is going to maybe sound like the get off my lawn guy, but just win in the fall. That's my main thing. Just win in the fall. Obviously, some traditions, it sucks to see them go. But we know we're going to have a guest at 10 o'clock to talk about some of these different changes in the college landscape. Jay Gates, who's a friend of the station, part of the family, the drive in general. Me and Jay Gates, former Nebraska defensive back, part of the 97 national championship team, has two kids that are in that realm right now. We'll talk about that. But yeah, Nick, I get it from both ways, man. I get how a lot of teams are realizing it's just different. The landscape that we sit on, but I get it from the fans' perspective too, because like I said, man, and also even former players, it was fun because a lot of former guys would come back, and and Foreman and AG could tell you this is too, as well as Terrell and VJ, that you had a lot of players that came back for spring games, and to where it'd be guys from the 70s all the way up into the few years ago. And maybe that still doesn't stop,
Yeah.
But I do know that was something we would look forward to. And also, back in the day, the NFL draft was also that weekend. So there was a lot of excitement that was going on during that time.
I think in addition to all of that as well is it used to be a massive recruiting weekend. And I think this is where it's important to understand the shifting landscape in college football and in recruiting and how Nebraska's specific staff right now, right here and now, how they handle recruiting. The last couple of years under Matt Rule, they actually they've made the spring game a big recruiting weekend, but it's not like the junior day, or it's not like what they have in March or late March or whatever it is, like they've had a couple of years ago. And so it's not like it was under Mike Riley when you at the spring game had Brendan Radley Hiles and you had Mario Goodrich and you had I'm blanking on some of their names. Keyshawn Johnson Jr., Micah Parsons, TJ Pledger,
look at
Chase,
Chase, there goes the black shirt.
Chase Williams,
love you, little bro,
and other things like that. So it's not like those types of spring games where you're having 80 recruits on campus and they get to leave with they sold out the spring game. Once again, they're coming on junior days. They're coming on those types of days, and that's what's most important.
Nick, you bring up a good point there in that it shows you the very quickly changing landscape. That was a selling point at one time.
Yeah.
And not saying this anymore, but I'm simply saying, unfortunately, it's now this. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
What's the bag looking like?
And that's
the reality.
And it's the same conversation that I had about Husker basketball after the Iowa loss. Let's get to a point to where recruits are talking about, the fans are great and everything's there.
Winning.
But at the end of the day, why are they coming to Nebraska? It's because they win.
They win.
And Nebraska, they need to prioritize winning. And maybe this is a step in the right direction. We won't know. Hindsight's always going to be 2020, and we can't predict the future. But maybe this is a step in that right direction to where Nebraska's athletic department can prioritize winning and can prioritize the retaining of the roster and that. So I just don't. I think we all had an immediate reaction to, oh no, how dare they cancel the spring game? But as time has gone on and as time has passed, I think as we have these conversations about in depth and say, okay, what are the ramifications? What are the potential ramifications? And then what are the pros as well? Because I think there are some pros to this. Ramifications that we know, right? The economic impact and just the opportunity for younger fans to go to a game, for families for at a little bit of a more affordable price. Okay, so those are the ones we know of. But the potential pros, you don't have many transfers at the end of the year. You don't have to worry about as many injuries in the spring game. I think maybe this is a step in the right direction to prioritize winning for this staff. Maybe it's not, and maybe it won't help on fall. But we can't sit here and have it both ways to where we say the spring game matters so much, and then we walk away and say, well, the spring game doesn't matter after they don't play well. Or we can't get to the fall and be happy now that the spring game's not happening, and then get to the fall and say, well, they should have had a spring game. Because I can tell you right now, in the spring game does not affect their ability to play on the fall. It's the other practices that surround the spring game.
Right. When you said, oh, no, I was like, oh, my gosh, it's a cultural divide. I'm going to get it on the flow.
You're really about to do it?
40 acres and a mule is bigger than the music.
You're really about to do it?
Slipping. I'm thinking. I don't know why every time I just want to say, oh, no, I just started thinking about that.
So they played that song last night at McKinney's, and they played it. And I looked over at my buddy. I said, Mason, can you imagine how much bigger this song has gotten since the Super Bowl? Drake's just crawled up in a little hole.
Yeah, he's been MIA.
Hey, where's Drake at? I spy. Drake, where you at? Anyway.
Folks, we got a packed show for you today. When we come back, we want to hear your thoughts. Where does Nebraska baseball go from here? It's been a tough start. Obviously, plenty of games left. I am not putting out the alarms, not sounding the alarms, but I am concerned, Nick. I am concerned.
Just to wrap up the spring game conversation, Mark chimes in on the YouTube stream. Mark Davis.
Oh, my brother.
Some of the best parties of all time were held on the night of the spring game.
Yes,
That's what he says.
If that's my big brother.
I can't wait to hear those stories on air.
Hey, Mark,
next.
and those stories will stay off the air. We're just going to say there was some great parties.
Yeah. Did you consume more than 3 beers? Because I was struggling after 3.
Love you, big bro.
Hey, get a couple of beers.
Those are the things we miss, though, because those were some amazing times. Great parties.
Well, you can still party.
Yeah, we're 51. Well, you're not. I told you, man, literally have shoes older than you.
Yeah.
When I go in my closet, I'm thinking, yeah, this is older than Nick. This is older than Nick.
I appreciate you thinking about me often.
Yeah, I don't know if it's kind of a good way. It's kind of like when you have a bad back.
Oh,
man,
right?
There's Nick again.
Oh, yeah, there's Nick again. God, Nick just never leaves me alone. Hey, couple of beers.
Folks, we're here to talk about Nebraska baseball. Where do they go? Nick's got the breakdown. We'll discuss it. We also got a guest at 10 o'clock breaking down the new landscape of college football and sports just in general. And if you're a parent, you definitely want to tap into this if you have a kid in that position or just right out of it. We'll be back, folks. It's The Drive, Tuesday.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue. It's $5.99 barbecue time. Hurry to Hog Wild for a complete barbecue meal that's only $5.99. Get a 1-meat sandwich loaded with our award-winning barbecue, plus your choice of a classic side and drink for just $5.99. Upgrade your sandwich to beef brisket for just $1 more. Join us for lunch or dinner in Lincoln at 3210 Cornhusker Highway. Order online at GoHogWild.com.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contests, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Garage doors can break down or quit working at the worst times. At Doors Plus, they understand that a broken garage door sometimes means repair and not replace. Sometimes, all you need to make your door like new again is a few bolts, a realignment, or even a new balance. Trust the pros at Doors Plus to handle your garage door repair the right way so you can get on with your busy schedule. Visit them online at DoorsPlusLLC.com or give them a call today at 402-590-5800. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
Husker fans, the message is clear. Nebraska softball is here to dominate. They're off to a hot start, and they're bringing that energy into Big Ten play. On Friday, March 21st, Minnesota comes to Lincoln for a weekend series in Bowling, and they need Husker Nation in the stands. Don't miss your chance to be part of the action as they begin conference play. Get details and tickets at huskers.com/tickets.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? Do you need a lawyer you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion? The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Contact us for a free consultation by calling 877-42-LIBERTY. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group, trial attorneys you can trust.
Get ready for spring by joining an evidence-based program to improve your health and well-being. These programs use proven strategies to help you make lasting changes, whether it's boosting nutrition, increasing activity, managing stress, or enhancing wellness. Invest in yourself today and feel your best this spring and beyond. Paid for by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Wellman Plumbing at 402-434-2400 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-434-2400.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today. We'll see mainly sunny skies with a light breeze. An afternoon high around 80. Tonight, showers and storms turning to rain and snow. It'll be windy with a low around 31. And tomorrow we'll see snow and blizzard conditions likely. An afternoon high of just 39. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fletcher for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports is quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Now back to The Drive with AD, Raff, and Ahman Gray on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, folks, we are back on this tremendous Tuesday. Again, come on down to the Mill, 1040 O Street. Read a book, have a meeting, just hang out and chill before Snowmageddon kicks in.
Come say hello to AD.
Hey, come say hello to AD. Come say hello to Nick.
No, just AD. Come say hi to Raff. Raff's around here.
Yeah, Raff is in Chicago, I would assume, by now, waiting for his next flight. Raff is on his way back down to Huntsville, Alabama. AG is out on the road today. He's out today as well, taking care of some business.
He must not have had any plane issues, Raff.
Nothing posted.
Nothing. He hasn't responded. He hasn't texted you or anything.
No.
No, we good?
No, I think he's
okay.
Good, man.
Wow.
I think he's good.
So it's possible.
You know, man, I fly out, knock on wood, tomorrow out of Omaha at 1, and I'm hoping the weather-wise, it's a quick flight. I'm just going up to Minneapolis.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping the weather cooperates for me to at least get that quick flight up to Minnie.
I fly out Thursday at like 7:30 p.m.
Omaha or Lincoln?
Omaha.
Okay.
It should be just fine by then.
Well, it's supposed to be 50 degrees the next day.
Yeah, I would imagine. Well, it's not even. So Jake and I were looking at this yesterday. Actually,
I think it's the wind.
Well, we were looking at it yesterday. Tomorrow, when we're supposed to get all this snow, it's not supposed to be below 32 degrees.
Nah.
The low is like 34.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of bizarre that they're calling for it, number one, or that it might not be. Let's hope that it's maybe turns into rain. Like once it falls, it might be snow, but once it actually gets on the ground, it might be rain.
Right.
So I don't know what's going to happen there. But Raff just texted and said we are all good.
Nice.
So that's good to hear.
It's good to hear.
But
good to
anyway,
hear,
yeah.
Rafferty. Good to hear, my man. Glad you got there safe, brother.
Let's hope for the three of us. We got one of the three, but let's hope that you and I both get to our places on time and safely.
It would be nice to have that happen. But you know what, though, dude? After COVID, and I've said this before, I started flying a lot earlier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean by like for instance, I don't speak Thursday until I think 8:30 that morning.
Yeah.
But I'm leaving right after the show, basically. Well, actually, I'm leaving today to get to Omaha, so I don't have to deal with anything tomorrow morning. But prior to COVID, I would have left, maybe a 4:30 flight or something like that nature. But no, those days are gone now. But I tell you what, it's still here. This segment is brought to you by Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services. Jack has been a well-respected representative since 1999. He can help you protect your home, your vehicle, your family, or even your future. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100 or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services can help you. Again, Nick, let them know about the reception and how they can still tune in.
Yeah, so there's a lot of people that have probably realized that, hey, our FM signal is not down. Tell your friends, tell everybody that listen to the ticket, even the people that don't listen. Hey, download our app. You can always listen to us there. We're still live on the app. We're still live on our Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Allo Channel 961 video streams. We're still live on our website, theticketfm.com. So the only thing that's down is our FM transmitter. I've received word. We have 2 engineers working on it right now. So there's 2 engineers out at our transmitter right now out in Firth, Nebraska that are I would imagine that they got some wrenches out there and just trying to tighten some bolts a little bit. And, things that are way, way over my head.
Well, tell your friends, your brother, and your mama, too. We coming back.
There it is, just like that.
Nick, Nebraska baseball right now, man. Let's say 10 being very concerned. I'm going to close the gap. 5 being very concerned. 1 not at all.
I would put it up pretty close to like a 7 or an 8.
It's only 1 through 5. 5 being the worst.
Oh, I thought you said 10.
I changed it.
Okay, I'm sorry. Well, then I still would put 7 or 8. I know. I mean, in all honesty, okay, so I feel like a 4. So the
reason, like, I'm just gonna blow up the whole trajectory.
Yeah, right. No, I mean, like, here's the honest truth with it is, so Nebraska deals with injuries a lot, right? And they have issues to their pitching staff specifically quite often. But going into the season, it was the matter of who's going to step up in the most crucial of moments. Nebraska needs to get wins, and ultimately, I mean, they're sitting here at 7-10 overall, so the season's not over by any means.
Got a lot of games left.
But what I will say is that Nebraska needs bullpen arms to step up. And really, it's a lot of it's also been the offense. Like, the offense has been inconsistent for a good chunk of the year. A couple of the guys that they brought in have not been performing or taking the notch up. This is one of the things where, like, when you're talking about JUCO recruiting, or even like a Cale Frost from South Dakota State specifically, is like what they did at their previous stop is really, really strong for where they're at. This is now a new level. So therefore, the expectation needs to be that you will rise to that level. And I think Nebraska right now, just looking at lineups, you could not watch a single inning of Husker baseball this year. And I'm sure there's a decent number of people that haven't, and they've just kept tabs on social media or whatnot. But you can look at the lineups and realize and make the indication that they're still trying to figure out how they want to format this thing. It does not, it seems clunky a lot of the times. They've tried Case Sanderson, who we thought that this offense would center around. They've moved him throughout the lineup. They've moved other guys throughout the lineup. They've had Cale Frost bat in 6th. They've had Cale Frost bat in 9th. They've had Ty Stone, who's hitting 200, bat in the 4 hole. Like, it just does not seem consistent. And then you have guys that I think haven't necessarily risen to the occasion on stealing jobs or taking jobs. And like, center field's a position that behind Riley Silva defensively, you feel like could be wide open. And the staff goes out and brings in Robbie Bolin, and from a JUCO down in Kansas. And you're like, okay, that's a guy that's going to contend with Riley Silva. And I can actually attest that in the fall and through chunks of the winter, he actually won the job and had the job from Riley Silva at the time. But then Riley Silva ends up winning it back. Those are the type of things you want to hear about. But now in the fall, you see they play Caden Brumbaugh, and they move him out to center field at times. And it's a, where did these guys go that they were counting on at the beginning of the year? So I think partially it's a staff issue. Partially or rather a coaching issue, because I think Nebraska has the right staff. I really like this staff. Partially it's that. Partially it's players. More so players, I would say, than coaching. But there's a lot of things that Nebraska's trying to still work through. They haven't been able to play at home a whole lot. I get that. When they have played at home, they've looked a lot better. but ultimately you're in the Big Ten, and so road losses don't really do anything for you. And so UCLA is not the UCLA of old. It's just not. And so you got to figure out ways to get wins under your belt. Nebraska's still stuck out on the West Coast. They got some big matchups coming up at the end of March next weekend. Oregon State's in town. I mean, these are chances for top 25 wins going forward that you have to take advantage of if you're Nebraska.
I think that could be a weekend after. I mean, they got handled against UCLA this past weekend, man.
Well,
it
was the fashion that they lost.
Yeah,
like
it wasn't even close.
It was different on multiple games, and I had to kind of go back and check things out since I was at Pinnacle Bank Arena all day and didn't get to sit down and actually watch it. But like Sunday, they have a 3-0 lead, and this is where bullpen guys got to come up. Like Sunday is going to be your traditional bullpen day, to where you just need 3-4 innings from a couple of guys just to go out there and shove. You can give up a couple of runs as long as your offense is producing. You come out and you're up 3-0. Frankly, that should be enough.
Mm-hmm.
That should be enough for as an experienced of a pen and how many experienced arms Nebraska has. But because of the way that you played on Friday and Saturday, it hinders your opportunities and your options for arms out of the pen on Sunday. If you have to go to your lower level guys on Sunday because of you needing higher level guys to come in and try to save the day on Friday and Saturday, well, then you're going to have a lot of situations like this week where you have blown leads and you get swept. So it's just, I mean, we've said it over and over. I think that this staff and like Rob Childress is certainly the guy. But ultimately, at the end of the day, like at some point, these players need to go out there and just shove.
Mm-hmm.
That it's as simple as that. Go play baseball. Go play baseball. Nebraska isn't hitting the ball well right now. I don't know if we're in this in between of, do they want to be a power hitting team that hits gap to gap, or do they want to be somebody that manufactures runs like the gritty over pretty mantra? I don't know if we know that answer. I don't know if the staff quite knows what type of roster they have to do that to the best of their ability.
Well, tonight you have they play Pepperdine, who's 4-14. Pepperdine is not very good. This is a team that hopefully Nebraska can get back on the winning streak.
Yeah,
they're 4-14. Pepperdine last win was against Long Beach State a few days ago. They took care of them. So Nebraska will be playing in Malibu. I mean, we couldn't think of a better place to be playing right now as far as that goes. So hopefully they can get back on the winning streak. So Nebraska plays them, of course, tonight at 3 p.m. today. They play them again tomorrow at 3 p.m. All those games, obviously, you can listen to on the Husker Network, ESPN Plus. Also, we'll be carrying those games, Huskers.com and Huskers Radio's network. And, of course, you've got the Huskers app. And tonight's starter.
It'll be 5 p.m. Central.
5 p.m. Central. That's right, 5 p.m. Central. I'm thinking their time. Yeah, thank you, Nick. 5 p.m. Central time. Tonight starter at 3 p.m. I'm at 5 p.m. is Carson Jackson. What do you think about Carson, man?
I like Carson Yassa a lot. I mean, he had a really nice performance against, and this was go back to midweek starters, right? We saw it last week against Wichita State. He goes out on, I believe it was Tuesday night, and shoved. I mean, he pitched really well, and those are the guys that you need in the middle of the week to just go out there and eat up innings, and that's what he did. If Carson Yassa can consistently on a Tuesday or Wednesday night against a lower level team that's below Nebraska, go out there and allow fewer than 5 hits, allow fewer than 2 runs, and go out there and just eat up innings, it's going to set you up in a better spot for the weekend. But then also it's going to hopefully force other guys that are contending for midweek opportunities to then rise to the level. And if they don't, then it's a personnel issue.
TJ Coates will be the starter tomorrow at 5 p.m. Nick, I'll say this real quick before we put a pin on this thing. Last year, this was the Achilles heel for Nebraska. Games like this, midweek games they should have won, they were dropping. And it obviously ended up winning the Big Ten championship. That came out of nowhere, too. But you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you have to win the whole doggone tournament.
Certainly not.
Just to be in a nice seating when it comes to regional.
Well, and you're not, and that's the thing is like Nebraska, the best opportunities. There's a lot of weight on these early games in the year because you can't improve your seed a whole lot by winning Big Ten play like that. You just can't. And so Nebraska is one of those teams that a lot of this has ramifications for the future too, as I'm trying to organize my thoughts. Like, not only is it important for Nebraska to be competitive against Vanderbilt and against Oregon State next week and against Pepperdine and Fullerton and teams like that, not only is it important for that to be a thing this year for their seeding currently, but also in the future of when you're talking about laying out schedules and getting schedules figured out and aligned, you want to have opportunities to reschedule matchups with Oregon State and reschedule matchups out south with Ole Miss and LSU and this, that. If you don't, then Nebraska's going to start to drop down. If you're not competitive, Nebraska's going to drop down to where they're a middle-of-the-road Big Ten team. They might get one chance, right, out in Arizona in a preseason tournament against a top 10 team. But other than that, like, look around at the rest of the Big Ten. Nobody else is playing the schedule that Nebraska is against the type of opponents that Nebraska is playing because nobody wants to play them. It doesn't benefit Vanderbilt to go play Northwestern. It doesn't benefit LSU to match up against Michigan State. It just doesn't. And so then you get into a really dicey situation to where you don't get invited into tournaments. Nebraska gets invited to the Frisco College Baseball Classic. Nebraska needs to win and show that they're competitive in those tournaments year in and year out so that they keep getting invited back. The SEC teams don't have to worry about that.
Right.
Nebraska does. And so that's where, yes, you can afford to make mistakes and maybe lose games early in the year, but it has to be in a competitive fashion.
Right.
It has to be in a competitive fashion. Because if you don't, guess what? There's about 55 other teams that the Frisco College Baseball Classic can choose from, that the Shriners College Showdown down in Arlington can choose from, things like that. So I'm not saying Nebraska's in a situation where they're, potentially going to lose that, but because I don't think they will. And Nebraska's fans also travel well enough in the early parts of the year. But ultimately, if this continues trending the way that it is year after year to where Nebraska has these slow starts, then that's going to become a concern.
Real quick, unknown texter 0283 says they need to quit taking so many early count strikes.
Well, the whole strikeouts have been an issue for Nebraska the last 2 years. I mean, you had guys on your team that had more strikeouts than hits, or I mean, you're talking about there's situations to where you look at baseball at every level. I mean, there's a lot of players right now. Westland has a guy. I was just talking. I mean, one of my best friends is an assistant coach for Nebraska Westland baseball. Shout out to Mason Bennett. And Nebraska Westland, by the way, right now is 10-1 overall.
Wow.
Best start in program history, 10-1 overall. Their staff, just get this, speaking of Nebraska baseball, it ties in. Their head coach, Jeff Christie, the former Husker baseball pitching coach. Okay. Jeff Christie's the head coach.
Second year, first year.
First year there. They just got back from Florida. Nebraska Westland did. So Jeff Christie's in his first year, has him at a 10-1 start. The pitching coach is former Nebraska baseball closer Josh Rader. Spent some time in the Yankees organization as well. Their hitting coach is Tanner Lubach, former Husker catcher. Hit that big walk-off against Indiana back at Target Field, I want to say in like 2014. Spent some time in the Houston Astros organization, coached in the Houston Astros organization.
He spent a lot of time in MLB.
And, and so that's who you have leading Nebraska Westland at the D3 level, who are now 10-1, best program or best start in program history. So what I say all of that to say, it's a different level, but the core of the sport stays the same.
Right.
Quality at bats, throw strikes, eat up innings, commit few number of errors, have, like I said, quality at bats. The quality at bats part, going up with an aggressive mindset, the discipline at the plate, and 0283 to answer your, to piggyback on your point of the quit taking so many early count strikes. A lot of that's mentality when you step up in the box of what's your approach at the plate. What is it? What are you trying to do with a fastball on the outer half? Are you trying to pull it for a rollover ground ball, or are you okay with taking it the other way for maybe a line drive base hit? Are you okay with hitting it between the first and the second baseman in the 3-4 hole and getting just a single rather than trying for a double? Like, a lot of that is the approach at the plate. How do you view and what are you looking to do with a pitch? Okay, if I get a curveball, if I get off speed, and a lot of these guys like Case Sanderson and Gabe Swanson, when they go up to the plate, they're going to get first pitch off speed. They're going to get first pitch curveballs because they're best players. They're Nebraska's best players. But that's why it's important for other guys to pick those guys up in the lineup. So the Rhett Stokes, the Kanan Brumbaugh, the Cale Frost, everybody there. It's important for you then to pick up those guys when they don't have quality at bats. That's just as simple as it is.
Nick, always appreciate your wisdom, insight on this. Nebraska takes on 5 p.m. ESPN Plus. You can check it out. They take on the Pepperdine Waves. You can watch it on ESPN Plus, Huskers.com, and listen to it play-by-play as well. They play again tomorrow, same time, same place, Pepperdine. Hopefully Nebraska gets back on the winning ways, going against the 4-12 Pepperdine team. Folks, we'll be back. Quick segment with history.
We don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We'll just go over the top of it.
Yeah,
We got a guest.
I like it.
Because look at him. He's standing over your shoulder.
We'll get to that later.
Look at him. He looks.
Oh, boy.
Did you just get a fresh shave?
I don't know. I just did a black milk dust with glasses.
Glistening. It's glistening. He can't hear us. That's the best part.
Yeah. We'll be back, folks. It's The Drive, 93.7 The Ticket.
I'm Chief Dave Engler. When a fire truck hits a pothole with 12 tons of fast-moving equipment and crew, it's a problem. On your ballot in April is a measure to continue Lincoln's quarter-cent sales tax for street improvements. A vote against eliminates the street funding. A vote for will not raise your taxes and keeps the funding in place. And better roads means faster response times. Learn more at LincolnOnTheMove.com.
We use our Lincoln streets every day, and so do first responders. But visitors and out-of-town commuters also do. A quarter-cent sales tax for streets passed by voters in 2019 makes those commuters pay about $6 million a year to improve streets. On your ballot in April is a measure to continue it. A vote against means no more funds from commuters. A vote for will not raise your taxes, and commuters still pay. Learn more at LincolnOnTheMove.com. Paid for by the City of Lincoln.
Forget the lame excuse this year. Your boss already knows why you can't make it to work for those magical 2 days in mid-March. Join 93.7 The Ticket on Thursday and Friday at Buffalo Wings and Rings at 68th and O for March Mayhem. Come early on Thursday and get a ping pong ball with a lucky team on it. And stay all day for prizes throughout and buzzer beater upsets. It's March Mayhem with 93.7 The Ticket for the NCAA tournament at Buffalo Wings and Rings, 68th and O.
Spring storms can unfortunately lead to power outages. While LES line workers go out in the storm, you can stay in, but you can also help by reporting your outage right away online at les.com/report.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription, or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Husker fans, the message is clear. Nebraska softball is here to dominate. They're off to a hot start, and they're bringing that energy into Big Ten play. On Friday, March 21st, Minnesota comes to Lincoln for a weekend series in Bowling, and they need Husker Nation in the stands. Don't miss your chance to be part of the action as they begin conference play. Get details and tickets at huskers.com/tickets.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Get ready for spring by joining an evidence-based program to improve your health and well-being. These programs use proven strategies to help you make lasting changes, whether it's boosting nutrition, increasing activity, managing stress, or enhancing wellness. Invest in yourself today and feel your best this spring and beyond. Paid for by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's special through March 18th is 15% off Wickster seafood, 25% off Meat Mitch spices and sauces, corned beef for $9.99 per pound, and discounted Reuben brats while supplies last. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town. Attention all Wings fans. Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays enjoy 89-cent boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.29 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Buffalo Wings and Rings today on 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
We're in Raising Cane's with the man that started it all. Wait, are you the Yes Chef guy? We got chicken fingers, crinkle cut fries, Texas toast, and their world famous cane sauce. Could shed a tear right now.
Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love. Welcome to The Drive with AD Raff and Ahman Gray. Former Husker football national champion, speaker, and author, Aaron Davis.
Nebraska will win the national championship. The Cornhuskers beat Miami. It is history, 13-0, and bring that trophy back to Lincoln.
Former Arena Football League quarterback, former head coach of the Capital City Crush, and guru of Husker football history, Chris Raff.
25 straight wins for the Cornhuskers. One of the most dominating stretches in college football history.
We may have seen one of the best teams in the history of college football tonight.
12-year NFL veteran.
He's got some speed to go with strength.
Huskers and Green Bay Packers Hall of Famer.
Shovel pass to Green into Vikings territory. Finally brought down.
And University of Nebraska eSports coach, Ahman Green.
Look at Green all by himself. 20, 10, touchdown.
Sponsored by Doors Plus on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We got my man Jay Gates, a.k.a. Sleepy, in the house.
What's cracking?
A.k.a. What's that black official that everybody says look like me to be reffing in the NFL? That brother from Atlanta.
Torbert, maybe?
I think that's the right name,
I'm
man.
not sure. There's a lot of brothers out there.
Yeah, because I look like him. My brother Mark looks like Mike Tirico.
Yeah.
And then Daniel looks like Jason Wilbon. So the Davis boys got all the commentators and refs. Not all of them, but we got three of them pegged pretty good. Jay, good to see you this morning, man. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm real good. Glad to be here. Glad to come down on the ticket every now and then and say what's happening.
You were not Hawaii. Were you in the Caymans? Where were you at last? The last place you were at?
Man, I've been all over the place. Most recently, I was in the Cayman Islands in January.
Yeah,
tough life.
Hey. It was for work. It was legit.
Yeah.
I had to be there. Don't hate.
Hey, I saw Jay. Last time I saw Jay was a week and a half ago in Mellow Mushroom.
Oh, yeah. With my daughter making
That's right.
state basketball, we had to come down here and support the Norris Titans and their epic run at a title.
Man.
Only to be crushed by the damn Skyhawks once again.
They're so good.
For like the last 90 years.
You know when
Hey, I have my feelings about Scott too, so it's okay.
You know what though? This is something that we're going to talk about maybe tomorrow too.
Okay.
Because it's big. There was someone, I'm not going to mention I don't know who the person was, but they tweeted about Scott, talking about how it's a shame what they're doing.
Everybody's all worried about recruiting.
So I want to get
garbage.
on that because that is a big issue. It seemed like it happened. It's just a big issue. And I'm not saying good or bad. I'm just simply saying I was just kind of reading. I bookmarked it on Twitter and I was like, interesting. So yeah, that's a whole nother topic to discuss that
I'm gonna be sending you some stuff on that.
Just be
man.
better.
Yeah,
Exactly. I mean,
it's happening all over the place.
Hey, when we lived in Iowa, and this is just facts. When we lived in Iowa, and I won't get us off topic for long.
They're fine.
Dowling Catholic is one of the biggest and best high school sports in
Dowling
the Des Moines. Dowling Catholic. They've turned out NFL players, and the bottom line is, it's no different than like these kids start like at third grade. You know, now, I mean, it's a Catholic deal, so they go to mass and then they go to practice. It's like Notre Dame, right? Yep. And the dads are like, "You will go to Notre Dame. You understand that, right? So let's start now." And that's just how it is. So it doesn't surprise me. Plus, you know, I mean, Matt, you know Matt Turman, so you got to support Matt Turman.
Terminator.
Yeah. Until I got into the Norris family through family. I mean, now obviously it hurts a lot worse, and I understand the frustration because it's every year.
Yeah,
those fools are breaking.
And it's every
every year breaking the hearts of our Norris Titans,
and it's every sport too.
Yeah,
I mean that's the thing is I mean I experienced it baseball wise. We're experiencing it basketball every March in the biggest moments, and we saw it in football. But also we can't sit here and act like public schools don't do it either. And so it's just that's where you're at nowadays. Everybody, it's a small. I mean, shoot, Jay, you know it because you're in the middle of it right now. The high school athletic community, everybody knows everybody, and parents talk and parents have conversations, and there's a lot of poor coaches are a part of it. Yeah. Poor coaches make kids want to leave because of bad opportunities. If you have the right coaches in place, guess what? Most of the time that comes with success, and people are happy when they win.
Yeah.
There's that part too.
I got nothing against him. Norris's time will come. Hopefully it comes in the next 2 years when my daughter is open. Norris gave them rent for their money.
They did.
And I think in the next couple of years the Titans will break through. But
Scott's got 20-something titles, 20+ titles in several different. I mean, combined in sports. So it is what it is.
You got to respect them.
Got to respect it. John and Cortland, give me a break. AT, no one would be as pretty as you. I guarantee you, Gates is, man, with that milk dud head, freshly shaven, and the whole nine, man. Can you use a razor on your head?
I can. I just choose not to because I've used electric for so long that I had like if I forgot to cut my hair and I had a hat on and I'm at work somewhere, I will go to like a Walmart and get a blade.
See, I got those hairy razors I've always used.
And I'm fine as long as I don't make a habit of it. But it's so easy to do with an electric thing.
Clean.
And it takes me 10 minutes. I've been doing it for 30 years now. You know, got to date myself.
He meant to say legit.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? It's not a problem because our FM is down. That's the only thing that the FCC cares about. It's a podcast. Let it fly.
Well, James, good talking to you this morning.
I forgot about that 7-second delay. Brother just came in here talking raw.
We are not on the golf course right now.
All right, it's all real.
That is funny.
Note to self. Those words have been turned off.
In all honesty, since we're not, our transmitter is down for the FM,
down.
so that's the only thing that's why we can't cuss. Normally, it's because the FCC monitors our FM dial.
So Jay, we get an invoice for that.
It's
cost you $500, but it's not.
No, it's usually about 10 G's. So it just might not. It might take away your next trip to
Put it
Cayman
on.
Islands.
We'll just say this is the captain's show. Charge it to BJ.
BJ gonna be looking for you. He gonna be like, "Where's Sleepy at?"
Gates, you owe me $500.
So you can obviously log on and watch it on YouTube. You can download the app, but on the FM dial right now, we're having some difficulties with that. Again, as Nick mentioned, that is out of our hands. We have folks out there trying to get that corrected right now. So John and Cortland, appreciate that. Jay, back to the topic at hand, man.
Sure.
We sent you some questions on yesterday. Just some things were coming up.
Did?
Well, I don't know if I sent those to you or not. Maybe I texted you. Maybe I'm not. But actually, it's probably best.
All right.
I like it better that you don't because just answer.
Yeah.
First thing, man, is the transition.
Right.
How's that been? You got your son Jax, who is now just starting his second semester at the Air Force Academy playing football.
Wrapping up third quarter, actually. He'll be home next week for spring break.
How is that for you and Kendra? How's it been for Jax at a Division I school, major college, Air Force Academy, very prestigious school? I got recruited by the Air Force Academy, and then I found out
when you're done, you still got that 4 years of military service afterwards. But John Onahaw, one of the
I remember
greats,
Obasi Onahaw.
Yes, Obasi Onahaw, one of the greats at Lincoln Southeast.
Yep.
Talked with him during my recruiting process as well. So that was something I definitely looked at. But that 4 years of military service, it just wasn't, like I said, different for everybody, different strokes. How's that been for you and Kendra and Jax, getting him acclimated from the high school level at Norris to a prestigious school like the Air Force Academy?
I think with Jax is a little bit more mature. I mean, he's always been mature and things like that, and he's handled this transition. I was talking to him last night. I'm so proud of the kid. I mean, I know I'm his dad, so people take that for what it's worth. But he's done very, very well. I think doing what he's done this year, as far as adjusting academically, adjusting to the military side of things, and trying to prepare to play D1 football next year, he's done an excellent job. And he's assumed some leadership responsibilities out there. He's learning to fly. That bug bit him. So he's done flight simulators, and he's going to
Nick does that too.
I do that on my Xbox.
Yeah, but he's going to be flying real planes here. I think he said in April. I'll talk to him more. I'm going out to Denver for March Madness to hang out with him a little bit.
So he's fitting that height. He's under to be able to. Because Jackson, how tall is he? 6'2"?
Jackson is just over 6'1".
Okay, so he barely made it.
Well, the planes have changed.
Okay.
And also there's height requirements for fighter pilots, and then some of the other big planes.
Okay.
The height requirements aren't as strict.
Okay.
I'm not an expert on them, but as of right now, he's not ruled out any kind of flight, but he's more into thinking if he flies, he wants to fly the big transport planes, kind of like what we see out here
at
Air National Guard.
Yep.
And then maybe at some point transition to like United or Delta or something like that.
Do they come out and they are set?
Dude, yeah.
They are set.
When I was there on Jackson's official visit, I was thinking, where was this what? Actually, I was thinking, Gates, you're ashamed. I couldn't have qualified. I mean, the kid's so much better. I couldn't have qualified to get in the Air Force Academy, and they wouldn't have wanted me. You'd have let him like, no, Mr. Gates.
I'm not going to mention our college days. At about 6 blocks down the street at 1010 East Street may have disqualified you.
Yeah.
Hey, I've seen that house.
Yeah, there's a reason why they're redoing it.
Hey,
me
and AD drove by about a week and a half ago, and AD goes, "Yeah, that's our college house." And I go, "Oh, okay, I see. It's barely standing on one beam."
Blew the rafters out of that house.
I'm telling you, the first visit to 1010 East Street, I will never forget that trip. But
we'll go on to the next topic.
Whole different show.
That one is when we can't be on the FM.
Yeah, the SEC will definitely not approve.
And Jay was like, and I was hanging out with a pastor's kid.
I learned some things.
we had communion quite often at the 1010 Street.
I saw Jesus. That is.
You talk about going to church and then going to play. That's what he did.
Dear Jesus, can I go home now, please? Can I make it home, dear Jesus?
He learned to pray when he left our house.
Let us pray, fellas.
Oh my gosh. Jay, you and Kendra have done a great job because you have, obviously Jackson, that's the Air Force Academy recruited. How did you deal with, and we'll get to Landry in a bit, how did you deal with the recruitment process? I mean, it's a different game now.
Oh, it's changing. It's very interesting to have that torch passed because, one, I wasn't recruited, right? I was a walk-on, you know that, which is interesting based on how things are changing now. A guy like me I would not have a national championship ring on a team like right now.
I'm going to say this because Jay won't say it. And Jay knows I use this in my talks quite a bit about not quitting and never knowing that next strike, that next blow on that nail could be the one that drives it on. Jay came out how many years straight?
Every year.
Jay came
4
out
years?
4 years straight during the tryouts. His last year, he made the team. 1997 national championship.
Dang.
Very few people who have lived that ever will live will have a national championship ring at a Division I school. And I use Jay's story all the time. Jay, I even use it in my own life when I'm thinking, man, I'm tired. Nope. If you give it one more shot.
Yeah.
And Jay came out that spring, gave it one more shot, made the team, 97 championship.
Do you replace Jay's name with you and say, I missed the team every single year. I went out and tried.
No, I
finally had the perseverance.
No, I'm not saying I was a much better athlete or even a better athlete than Jay as far as I'm not saying that whatsoever. But I am saying we were playing. We were blessed to play during a pretty special time.
Oh yeah,
at Nebraska, we're losing, which is
100%.
something we didn't do. I mean, it just really happened.
Think about it this way, guys. Like, we hear so many stories, not only like Jace, but like of tryouts. They don't have that now.
No.
If anything, it's the opposite, where guys that are on the team one year are cut the next. It's the complete opposite.
Even as we speak right now, gentlemen, there are guys right now that have a locker there.
Yeah,
that will not have one here in about 5 months, and that shows you how much it's changed.
It's changed.
Well, and right now is a massive time because you have mat drills going on, and you guys know better than anybody what those can do. I mean that tests your mental fortitude
big time. And these guys right now, even more so, Jay, they're going through all this hard work, busting their tails off, and they still may not make that 105 roster.
Yeah, and I mean, the game is just totally changed. Like you said, the errors, they're fun to compare, they're fun to look back in retrospect, but the game that is right now, what Matt Rule and those guys down there are doing right now is totally different than what Tom Osborne and his staff was going.
They got a different set of cards.
And every era is important. Like I think both things can be true to where it is 100% different than the game that we say, and we put that in quotations because we're not talking about the game on the field. We're talking about the other 95% that goes on the calendar year is different. It's important to focus and talk about those past eras, but then it's also important to recognize what's going on right now.
Yeah. And I think like back in the day, and Tom Osborne would even tell you this, like you see so much, and I'm not huge on recruiting, but I definitely understand it. Back in the day, you know, I mean, there was not an out-of-state kid that didn't grow up wanting to come here, right?
Very
few. Every kid grew up watching us go to the Orange Bowl or the Sugar Bowl or the Fiesta Bowl every year.
Yeah.
Right? And it was our dream. So if you grew up in Battle Creek, Scottsbluff, Omaha, or Lincoln, your number one spot was I want to play for Tom Osborne and I want to play for Nebraska. Now, there's so many in-state kids that don't fit this program, right? Matt Rule may say that may not be a good fit for us.
Yeah.
Or that kid may say, I see you've got 4 or 5-star quarterbacks.
Exactly.
Maybe I should go to Oklahoma State. I mean, just think about watching the Heisman this year. You know, these kids are, 2 years at Oregon, 1 year at Arkansas, 4 years during COVID at Oklahoma State, and then finally his 9th year and senior year at Georgia, he's here to win the Heisman.
There's that gentleman that's playing. I forget what school he's at.
He was at Miami. He was the tight end. Yeah, he was the tight end. He was here for 8 years. I think the fit part comes into play because we get so infatuated. Being just the casual fans of the sport, we get so infatuated with every in-state kid has to stay home. And Jay, I mean, this correlates, and you can relate to this better than anybody. Like you just naturally, the casual fan sits there and says, "Oh, this guy from in-state, he's a 3-star recruiter, he's a 2-star recruit, whatever it is." He needs to be at Nebraska.
Yeah.
No, you don't have that luxury now.
No.
Whether it's from the kid's point of view or whether it's from the coach's point of view, there's not enough time for these coaches to necessarily be able to take a 4-year investment.
No,
that it's a year-to-year investment on these guys.
It's either can you come in here first of all at the revenue sharing that we're about to see, and I think the only one I've seen is Georgia. So forgive me if I don't have exact numbers, but Georgia's paying. I think like everyone on the 105 is going to get some like $100,000.
So, base amount,
right? Base amount. Okay, so now Matt Rule has the same 100 or whatever that money is, right? Is he going to be able to allocate that to a 3-star from Grand Island that's going to take 2 years to develop? When he's like, look, if I don't win the Big Ten this year, this seat is electric, and they will turn it on.
Believe it, buddy.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't have time. And I'd rather go look at the portal, have my capologist or my general manager, who's now every school you're seeing him develop, someone who masters that portal. Gates just hit the portal. Why? Is he mad that he didn't play, or did he get in trouble? If he's, because we recruited him, if he's not in trouble and he's got eligibility and he's got 2 years of game tape, get him up here.
Yeah.
It's a thing to where you mentioned, man, to where with 105 spots, I look at those 105 spots like prime real estate. You better make sure what you're building on there is going to be luxury. You can't go there and build a dilapidated house, or you have to make sure what you are putting in that spot is going to receive return on that investment, hence what they do on that field. You can't just you can't take a chance anymore. And because the way the system, the landscape is set up, You don't have the luxury in saying, hey, we're going to develop this kid for 3 years. No, you're not.
No.
It's like online. No, you're not. No, you're not.
Yeah.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
That's funny.
That kid better be ready to come and put in work, or
Yeah.
at least compete in year 2, if not year 1.
Right? The days of having 150 kids,
those days
and basically like guys like me that just made up third team and scout team.
Me too.
And my job was to get beat up by
Give 'em a-
either
give 'em a
Aaron
look.
Taylor or Ahman Green, like Gates, run station, go over there and pick your poison. You know? And then Ron Brown saying, Gates, I need you to come up here and get run over. Right? And then here comes Makovica in my face or Ahman Green.
Yeah.
Stay there, Gates.
Yeah.
Joe, now what I need you to do is just run through the corner. Oh, yeah. Stay there, Gates.
Hey,
Go.
But then come back the next day, and do it again.
And do it again.
Yeah, and I was happy to do it. Be like, yeah, man, I'm about to go get run over for the
And
next
you know what,
4
Jay?
hours.
I think you bring up a good point, though. All due seriousness, because there's going to be a lack of bodies, those reps are going to be that much more important, because you're not going to have those true game looks like you're going to have when you had extra bodies to go around. The whole game has changed, man.
And go ahead.
I was going to say, with that being said, there's a lot of parents that are listening that have not been through it yet, or they're going through it now. The balance. How did you keep? I mean, Landry was involved in basketball and track. You had Jax that was playing at a time basketball and football.
Mm-hmm.
The select teams, the workouts, routines, the school, the family time, your travel, Kendra's. How did you balance all of that?
Well, I mean, Kendra, she's amazing. I'll be the first one, and everyone who knows me and her, if I don't say, she's the manager, right? She sits down almost, it seems like every day, and is putting the schedule together, right? And then for me, and she knows if it's not on my calendar, I don't know.
Right.
Now, she and I both fortunately have jobs, especially in COVID, that allowed us to be from home, right? So we're not sitting in an office or a cube 8 to 5, but at the same time, she manages the calendar, and I just show up. Like if Jax has a game at 6, I'm at his game at 6. If I got to be at York High School on Thursday at 2:00 for Landry's track meet, if it's on my calendar, I'll be there. If I am out of town, nowadays the technology is amazing, at least in ours. I can watch a game. Like I think I missed just a handful of Jackson's games from a football standpoint. And I mean, I'm gone, but I'm gone for work, and my kids understood that. But the balance was really and truly, Kendra would be home and manages it like a GM, like a master. Yeah. And then I think at home I could count on one hand or two hands the times it was able to sit like old school, all 4 of us down at a table, able to eat, So we made family vacations very important.
Priority. You guys have always done very well.
Yeah, always done well to go on a vacation, just us 4. When we can, we do hang out. We're going to see Jax is coming home this weekend, and we'll all be here. So it's just, we're just lucky. But yeah, I mean, it's divide and conquer and go to everything that you can. And my kids always understood if I wasn't there, or if Kendra's working and she can't be there, our kids understand, okay, it's not that my parents don't love me. It's just,
there was something, Nick, I'll let you go ahead. My mom, there was someone at always one of our events, and there were 6 kids, 4 boys and 2 girls. And my dad's work schedule sometimes didn't permit it, but he made everyone he possibly could as well. But there was always someone there to watch us, because my mom said she grew up knowing what it was like not to have a parent there to watch you.
Yeah.
And I remember, and my brother Mark, who had chimed in, I remember she'd be at Lincoln High, she'd be screaming and yelling, for him over those hurdles. That I'm just going to give a shameless plug. He had the 39.3, the 300 hurdle record there for a lot of years until, what's his name? I forget the young man's last name.
Darius Luff.
Darius Luff broke his record, and Mark set that record back in 1983, 39.3 in the highs.
Wow.
And my mom would be there yelling. I remember at Seacrest Field, I'll never forget, I got hit and I got flipped upside down.
Yeah.
Still caught the ball, might I add. But nevertheless, my mom goes,
that's why they named the field after you.
Yeah, no. My mom, oh, Jesus Lord. She goes, you ain't playing that game no more. Thank God for my dad, because my dad is the one that signed my physicals.
Oh,
my mom would not sign them. She didn't want me out there again, so she would not sign them. But it's important, Jay, to your point, to have mom and dad there.
It's critical, it's absolutely critical. And the only thing I can say about that is I remember there was a kid on our team. Now his family situation was different, but I know his parents ran a restaurant and a business, and even just midget football. Like, he would ride with us.
Yeah.
My mom would cheer with him or cheer for him just because his parents were working.
Yeah.
Right. At the end of the day, they got to pay the bills.
Got to put money on the table.
And I think one of the things is my kids understood we were fortunate to be in a situation to provide what they need and be available.
And be there.
Right. But at the same time, they also understand if we're not there, it doesn't mean
that you don't care to love them.
Because I think, to be honest with you, you got to be able to go perform whether mom or dad is good
That's
there
right.
or not.
Yeah, that's right. That's life.
I see so many kids, especially at Norris and people that transfer, they're constantly looking into the stands because nowadays these helicopter parents are all over them, coaching from the stands. These kids can't even focus during game time because they're looking up at their mom and dad, and their mom or dad is screaming at them from in the stands what to do or what not to do.
Well, Jay. So I mean, here's this part. I mean, just to put on that, I'm not gonna say the school name, but there was a guy in a kid this week in state basketball that, and obviously Foreman and I were down on the floor, and he looked up at the stands and was like, he yelled to his dad, he needed water. I'm sitting here going like, I will never forget. It was like, you know what? If you don't have a water, if you don't got your cleats, if you don't got your equipment, whose responsibility is that? At some point at 17 years old, as a senior in high school, you got to be responsible for that, because guess what? Now, if Jackson's in Air Force, if he doesn't got that stuff, hey, Dad, what the heck, man? Where's my cleats? Where's my water? No, that can't happen. I think a big part of that, what you just kind of mentioned before we have to take our break, is exposure. And I want to go back to coaches for this, because you said that for the parents that can't make this, can't make games,
right?
The accessibility to it. And this is a big reason why we actually here at the Ticket do the 48 games. We do all the games. And when we do everything else. And there's a lot of people that the high school sports have become more accessible, which is so much better, right? Whether it's through Huddle and video or whatever it might be.
Network.
Yeah, right. Or high schools doing their own production of broadcasts and things like that. Part of that comes on the coaches, because when you talk about then in the recruiting game of being exposure for colleges, and this is across multiple sports, baseball, basketball, football, something simple like inputting stats into Max Preps, something simple as just continuing to develop relationships with college coaches at all levels. Right. Even if it's something that you don't want to do, understanding that you're responsible for that roster of 20 baseball players or 15 basketball players or whatever it is, there's responsibility there. And if the wrong coach is in place, that's why we have the conversations that we did to bring this all full circle at the start of the segment about certain places, because some coaches across the state do it way better and are much more willing to help out than other ones.
There's a lot of incompetence in high school coaching.
Yeah.
Lot of incompetence, right?
Folks, we're going to hop back on that real quick. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Well, I didn't know if we were going to break.
No,
there's a lot of incompetence.
Yeah, go ahead, finish that.
Okay, so there's a lot of. It's almost like they don't want outside involvement. They don't have either the access or the time. I don't know, but they don't promote kids that once they recognize that they are elite, maybe they still treat them as, well, I'm still the head coach and you're a kid. It doesn't matter to me that so-and-so's recruiting them, or I'm not going to do what I can to help. I just think not all coaches are dialed in on what that process is. Yeah. And now it's changing to the point, to where those coaches, they got to stay on it, because I'll quickly say this before break, we can get back after it. You see a lot of prominent coaches now around the country. I think Primetime's come out and said it. I think Rick Pitino came out recently and said it. I am not recruiting high school kids.
Yeah,
there it is. Right? So the parents and the coaches have got to get their game together. As it changes, it's like, look, dude, you might be amazing in high school.
Yeah.
But you need to go, you better take that D2 offer.
Yeah.
Right? You better go and develop, because Deion Sanders isn't even going to come to your house unless you're a 5-star.
And the best thing and I give the NSAA a lot of credit here, because this is much overdue, and it might have been something that slipped through the cracks that we don't even realize happened, is they just passed last Monday at a board meeting, just passed a requirement for all coaches and at the high school level in the state of Nebraska that it is mandatory that you report stats on Max Preps. You have to input. But you would think you don't need that. That's the problem. The problem that you even need that. But I'm talking from a broadcaster standpoint, it makes it easier to talk about the specific athlete if there's stats available and if there's information available. it makes it easier for college coaches without even having that conversation at a Westland, at a Morningside, whatever it might be, to go on to Max Preps and go, okay, what's Nick doing today? Okay, well, he's hitting 315. He's got 7 doubles. He's got 14 strikeouts, but his strikeout to walk ratio is 2-1, whatever it is, without even having a conversation. That is the bare minimum that you can do at this level.
I get that, but in the coach's defense, though, I mean, they're struggling as an official. We're struggling to find a chain game. Right,
100%.
We're struggling
100%.
to get, so a high school coach is like, dude, I'm lucky if I get out of here at midnight. I'm a 7th grade math teacher, and you want me to spend my time writing down balls and strikes for 14 kids into the midnight? You better hire a statistician.
Well, what I will say is that at the high school level, though, too, is that you have players that are doing that. Like one at Pius, one of our jobs, if you didn't play, you were on the iPad doing the stats, or you were doing a game book. So like there are responsibilities, and I'm not saying that's the perfect solution to everything, and that I was perfect. It keeps you involved. It, number one, keeps you involved. It's the mental reps of it, and that you basically did the coach's job to when then there's also tons of kids that are at schools now that want to do this when they grow up. That are looking for an opportunity that say, you know what, coach, let me be the official statistician. Let me just go and input values and stats into an Excel sheet and put them on the computer. And like there's ways to then you're not only giving them valuable experience,
you're part of the game.
But you're a part of the game. That does take it off the coach's plate.
Get your math department involved.
Bingo.
Say, hey, we need some kids to do stats, especially some sports more than others, right? I think basketball. I think in basketball, they're sitting there doing it as the game goes, right? They have to. But football, it's like, okay, Jax has 1 catch that was
the math.
So you got to do the math and all that. That's totally different.
Certainly.
This is a blast from the past, but you remember the movie Remember the Titans, where he had that math teacher break down tendencies of the other team. And now, obviously, we're talking, 40, 50 years later.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot. I mean, everything is just boom, boom, diagrammed. Real quick, before we go here, Raff, appreciate it. That ref's name was Jerome Booger. Appreciate it, Raff. Raff also said this: Jax is a legit dude. Always been impressed every time I've spoke to him, Jay. So, man, you and Kendra have done a tremendous job with both him and Landry. One thing I love about Landry, we'll share this when we come back.
Sure.
She reminds me of Keisei Tominaga when she's on the court. She smiles when she's out there.
She's having fun.
Literally, she'll just be smiling, playing defense, smiling. There's a picture you guys have posted her. She's literally running, smiling. And I love that free spirit about her, and it's something I think you don't see enough in collegiate sports and high school sports, to where she is a breath of fresh air out there, Jay. So well done for you guys on that part. And real quick, Old Dad 34 here, and I agree with you on this. He goes, how they won't let a kid pay for his own schooling and play football is wrong, in my opinion. Old Dad 34, I agree with you. And it's unfortunate to where the times have changed to where it's like, hey, it's 105. That's it.
Yeah.
So it's just changed. What they do with those scholarships amongst that 105 is on to them, but it's only 105. And it's definitely a big jolt and a big punch to those kids that may not be right at that 105, but good enough, but just on the cusp. But those days are done, folks. When we come back, we got Jay Gates. Also talk some officiating, but more back on the recruiting. Landry and Jackson. Landry, of course, a sophomore at Norris, and Jackson, a freshman there at Air Force Academy. It's The Drive. It's Tuesday. We'll be right back.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? Do you need a lawyer you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion? The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Contact us for a free consultation by calling 877-42-LIBERTY. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group, trial attorneys you can trust.
We're in Raising Cane's with the man that started it all.
Wait, are you the Yes Chef guy?
We got chicken fingers, crinkle cut fries, Texas toast, and their world famous cane sauce. Shed a tear right now.
Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, And Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
Hello.
Angela, we have to break up.
But why?
Because you're a robot and I'm just a guy trying to get better internet.
It's Ella Fiber, isn't it? I always knew you wanted faster speeds. My contract isn't good enough for you.
Face it, Angela, they let me talk to real people.
Press 4 to break my heart. Oh wait, you already did.
Visit allofiber.com to switch today.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Attention all Wings fans. Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 89-cent boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.29 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Buffalo Wings and Rings today on 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today. We'll see mainly sunny skies with a light breeze. An afternoon high around 80. Tonight, showers and storms turning to rain and snow. It'll be windy with a low around 31. And tomorrow, we'll see snow and blizzard conditions likely. An afternoon high of just 39. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fletcher for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
Spring is the time of new beginnings and trying new things. If you haven't tried Führer's cheese spread yet, the time is now. For parties for St. Patrick's Day and Easter or celebrating the NCAA tournament with friends, there's no better dip to bring everyone together and celebrate something from Nebraska. Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Führer's cheese spread. No event or party is complete without it on your table. Husker fans, the message is clear. Nebraska softball is here to dominate. They're off to a hot start, and they're bringing that energy into Big Ten play. On Friday, March 21st, Minnesota comes to Lincoln for a weekend series in Bowling, and they need Husker Nation in the stands. Don't miss your chance to be part of the action as they begin conference play. Get details and tickets at huskers.com/tickets.
Get ready for spring by joining an evidence-based program to improve your health and well-being. These programs use proven strategies to help you make lasting changes, whether it's boosting nutrition, increasing activity, managing stress, or enhancing wellness. Invest in yourself today and feel your best this spring and beyond. Paid for by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Now back to The Drive with AD, Raff, and Ahman Gray on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Folks, we are back for another segment with Jay Gates in the house. Nick, what do we got, my man?
That's right. This segment, as always, brought to you by Eric, Nate, and David at Renew Your Auto. Give them a call today, 402-833-3858, or visit them online at renewyourauto.com. Raff's not here, so I can't do it, but they do everything the best. They do everything incredibly well, from body shop, ceramic coatings, window tinting, spray and bed liners, paintless dent repair, rust proofing and undercoating, so much more than just those things that I mentioned. They do everything incredibly well. So give Nate, Eric, or David a call or a text today, 402-833-3858. Learn more at renewyourauto.com and see what Renew can do for you.
Jay, what advice would you give to parents that have a talented son or daughter like you had with Jax and Landry? And Landry is scary because he's only a sophomore.
Yeah.
And playing varsity basketball, track. I mean, I know it's going to be ridiculous what she does this year as a sophomore. I mean, she blew on the scene last year as a freshman, and what she does right now as a sophomore. She's got technically 3 years of track left. This is just starting.
Yeah.
What's the advice you would give the parents that have a gifted athlete, and just athlete too, but particularly a gifted one like Landry?
Well, a gifted one like both of them. I think you have to understand the parent bias, right? What you see and what everyone else sees is different, right?
Mm-hmm.
As a mom or dad,
that's a great point.
You are always
going to
understand that your kid is better or
that is a great point.
And even as a former,
and like you say, both gifted kids.
Yeah. Even as a former D1 player, and I would watch Jax. Now, I was never a scout. I never recruited, but I could see things in Jax that made me think this kid could play D1.
Mm-hmm.
But one, I had to see the numbers, right? First of all, if you sit there and think your kid's good, but they're not putting up the numbers, don't blame the refs. Don't blame the coaches.
You notice,
right?
notice how he stressed the refs first because he refs.
Do not blame the refs. And do not blame the coaches, right? So number one, that's first. They got to perform.
Did they put in the work?
They got to put in the work. And that internal flame, we've talked about this before, that internal flame has to be lit. If you're the one waking them up, if you're the one posting their stuff on Twitter, if you're the one doing it and the kid's not doing it,
talk about it.
And I can see it plain as day. I see people who do the Twitter for their kids, and they post things in a way that no kid would ever post right now, right? And they're like, well, thank you, coach, for your post. I appreciate your acknowledgement of my skills. And these kids are like,
it's so formal.
Like, I remember Jack's like, thanks for the shout out.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, appreciate you. Yeah, thanks, coach. I mean, it's so different. So it's like you can see that right away.
Yeah.
But what I would say in answer to your question is get someone else to tell you. Right? I took Jax.
You had Tony Veland.
Yeah, I took Jax to Omaha, and I had Tony Veland, worth of Warren Academy, 2-time Super Bowl winner, that I could say, look, man, I know what I see, but I want you to work them out.
Right.
In the darkness of a 5 o'clock thing at the Warren Academy, Tony took Jax and put him through
the grinder.
Like a 40-minute workout that Jax got in the car. I was like, damn, Dad. I mean, I felt like he just went to the NFL Combine. Right? I mean, Veland had him doing all these drills. But then Tony came over to me and said, he's got the size, right? Mm-hmm. But he needs X, Y, and Z, this and that. And Tony gave me a very independent view of what he's seen. And mind you, he's played with Super Bowl winners.
Yeah.
So for me, and even with Landry, I know some people get more excited because Landry's a sophomore. I love Landry to death. I am her number one fan, and her mom is number one. Actually, her mom's her number one fan. I'm right behind her.
Be careful here. 1A or 1B.
Yeah, we are. Family is her biggest supporter.
Just the umbrella.
Let me say, Landry has an entourage that show up at every game, right? So
that's awesome.
But at the same time, Landry's got to put the numbers up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't go long jump for Landry,
right?
Landry has to go do it. And I can't go play against Scott for Landry either.
Mm-hmm.
So, you got to have the numbers to support it.
Yeah.
And then you got to have independent, like, the bottom line is these colleges, the bottom line, and I don't care what parent you are or how incompetent your coach is, and there's these high school coaches are clueless, most of them, right? Unless they consistently have D1 athletes that they're familiar with how to push kids beyond, is they will find you.
Yeah, right.
The numbers don't lie.
That's right.
Right? Amy Williams will be there at the state track or basketball, and at some point, she's going to say, Landry Gates, I see her. She's right here before my eyes because I'm watching Brett Prince.
Just like the volleyball coach, Kelly Buston-Bottom was that.
Yeah, Danny Buston-Kelly was sitting right next to us.
ABK.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, now I give you, getting to the state championship game gets eyes on you beyond belief.
Right.
But at the same time, like, I don't really need to push Landry. Landry just needs to go ball out and have fun and smile and enjoy it. Yeah. And if Amy Williams sees her and says, you know what, I was there to watch Britt. I didn't even know Landry Gates existed, but Landry Gates caught my eye. I mean, that's how things work. You know that.
Absolutely.
So I don't push them, and I don't put a lot of pressure on them because I think some kids, they have that pressure from their parents,
which is
and
sad.
it's not from them.
But
you can't want it for them.
Yeah, they have to want it.
Like you can spend the all the thousands of dollars that you want, but at the end of the day, if they don't want to go get better, then it's just money down the drain.
See, and that's why, and I've talked about it. You just nailed it on the deal. I want to get involved in youth sports just to build a facility and sell hopes and dreams. You know what I'm saying? These parents will spend so much money.
Man.
I want to just be like, look, I'm selling hopes and dreams. Come on in here and write me these 3,000. I mean, these parents are spending, these parents are paying $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 to make their kids go do shooting practice or basketball practice. Like, look, I can't tell you whether your kid's going to make it to the NFL, but hopes and dreams.
Here's what's crazy.
Yeah.
Guess what? This is gonna be a life-changing comment that I'm about to make.
Yeah, please do.
Life-altering. The equipment doesn't make your kid better.
You ain't lying.
Hey, guess what? A $500 bat doesn't make your kid better.
Nick, I think that's a crucial point you just bring there, but also without obviously scratch names out. There's something you said about 2.5 years ago because Nick, does batting practice with kids.
Oh yeah, I give lessons
and
for about 15 hours a week.
One particular kid, I'll never forget this because I see this so often.
Yeah.
And where parents, unfortunately, living vicariously through their kids.
Oh, yeah.
Tell them that.
And it's awkward every time I see the dad in public. Now.
Talk to me about that incident.
So Jay, I mean, you'll understand this. Like, this was about 2.5 years ago, and the kid comes in and he's like, he came to me, once a week or whatever, and it was for an hour or whatever. And we did half fielding, half hitting, so 30 minutes hitting, 30 minutes fielding.
Yeah,
and it was fine. And the kid was pretty good at baseball. And he was like at 10 years old at the time. Comes in, and he's just like, he was down in the dumps, you could tell. And when you spend that much time with them, you start to connect with them on a different level than like a parent would. And you guys know this as parents of kids. Like I could be saying the same thing that the dad is saying, but since it's coming from somebody else that's not a parent, they actually listen.
Right.
And that's a big part of it too. That's what we see a lot. But ultimately, he was like, we got about 15 minutes into the lesson, and you could tell he didn't want to be there. And I was like, hey man, what's going on? And he's like, I just don't want to do this anymore. He's like, he goes, I'm burnt out. And he goes, I'm doing this. I'm doing basketball 3 times a week. I'm doing baseball 2 times a week. I'm playing tennis indoors during the day. And he goes, I just kind of want to sit at home and work on a science project.
And it's the parents.
And I said, well, why are you here? And he was like, my dad told me I got to get in the car and let's go. Yeah. And I said, so we stopped the lesson, and I had to have, as at that time I was 21 years old, a conversation with a 45-year-old man of like, dude, why are you doing this? Like, what's the point? And it makes you, when you have those conversations, it makes me specifically realize how grateful and thankful I am to be raised the way I was, to where it wasn't forced upon me.
Right.
It wasn't. My parents didn't care and this is what I truly feel like sports are important, but you need to figure out what your child wants and what they value, and then encourage them to continue valuing that.
You know what? There's something that, Nick, I can only imagine how tough that was for you to have that conversation with someone that was old enough to be your dad.
Well,
but
I'm
at the
sitting
same
there going,
time,
how embarrassing is this for you?
Yeah.
You have a 21-year-old dude telling you, dude, raise your kid better.
The boys, I'll say this about the boys. Keenan was definitely the most gifted athlete, just all around.
Right.
But none of those kids, I didn't. In fact, I would even hear from people, why don't you force them to play football, man? I mean, you play. I said, no. I wasn't raised that way. I was raised in a house where you don't have to play sports, but you're going to do something.
You're going to fill your time with something.
Yeah, you're going to fill your time with something. It's not going to be at home, just sit there watching TV. You're going to do something.
Yeah.
And so Aiden, I knew early on when he was playing, he loved football. He learned how, when I used to play video games, he'd be sitting in my lap. That's how he learned to count by 5 so well by the football field. But as he got older, I started coaching their Y teams, and Tom Massey and Lee Stewart will verify this. We were coaching them when they were younger. We were like, and Massey, being funny, Massey, yeah, we got a bunch of lawyers and doctors out here, buddy. He goes, his basketball's not in the future. When Aiden knew the stats and the rules, he was like, technically the rule 5A states that you cannot. I mean, I'm like, yeah, he's going to be a lawyer.
It's all about geometry angles.
Yeah,
what degree do I need to shoot this basketball to get in?
Kids, but I was like, you know what? I am not going to push them to do something they don't want to do, because I've been around parents and even some of their, people I know that same age demographic don't have good relationships with some of their parents now because they were forced to continue to do something they no longer wanted to do.
Yeah. And some of these parents don't get it, or the kids as they get older. Like, I know some kids that have grown up that I've watched grow up, and they're just like, my mom is crazy. She makes me do X, Y, and Z and all this. And it's like, some of these parents get wrapped in, you're on the Supreme team or the Extreme team or this team. That doesn't mean anything, right? You could spend $10,000 to put your kid on this team, which you'd be better off putting a 401k or a Roth IRA than, putting your kid on this travel team that they're going to go, why am I going to take my kid to Wichita to strike out 97 times?
Just last night, I had a lesson with Just last night, I had a lesson with a 7-year-old, or excuse me, he was 9. He was 9, and it's his third year of baseball. And I come out, and his mom's like, Nick, we're putting him in through salt dogs, the junior salt dogs. It is. She's like, I'm just worried that, like, is that the right level? And I go, he's 9 years old.
He's 9.
He's 9 years old.
Yeah.
Just let him enjoy baseball right now. And if at that level, that's where they're going to enjoy it, then that's what you need to do. I tell the story all the time with these parents of, like, I wasn't so in select baseball. It goes like single A, double A, triple A majors. That's the 4 levels that you can go on.
Right.
And we lived in, I mean, more so now than ever, you have dads creating teams because they got pissed off that their son's not playing on a team. Or you have guys switching because they want to play on a majors team. First off, I was fortunate to find, I played at the AAA level. I mean, that's where we were at, but nobody cares. That doesn't mean anything.
Right.
But then we found a good group of parents. We found a good group of coaches.
Right.
And we were like, you know what? We could have it so much worse, because then we also would have teammates that would leave and they would have the exact opposite. And they talk about how much they hate it and how miserable it is and how they're traveling every week. And it's horrible. And then guess what? When you get to high school, hey, Nick, what'd you hit for the Lincoln Sox over there?
Nobody knows.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nobody gives a damn.
Hey, let me tell you this.
Nobody gives a damn.
Let me tell you this. You asked about what Kidder and I talk about sometimes. There was a couple of kids that I knew where these parents were blessed financially, right?
Yeah.
So they're paying for this kid from the time he was like in 4th grade or whatever. He was always on these travel teams, always on the Elite Supreme, whatever teams, traveling around. And this is baseball related. And they spent a lot of money on travel baseball, right? And they're always, anytime we'd be talking about, he's so good. And he's really doing X, Y, and Z. This fool gets to high school, right? Freshman year, and he had done all this travel and done all this, and then didn't even come close to making varsity. And they're like, "Oh, my kid!" Like, hey,
it's the school's problem.
Yeah, it's not the school, it's not the coach.
Yeah,
it's your kid's not that great. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I think it's important, like you said, to have someone else outside of you to look at your kid and give an honest evaluation.
Yeah, and the other thing, and I'll tell you this, because both Jackson and Landry have outside resources that we pay for, but we didn't pay for it. And I even told Landry, I tell Landry, I said, I'm paying this dude to teach you these moves. I need to see those moves on the court.
Hey, right?
You know what I'm saying? I told Landry, during the state tournament, I told Landry, I said, Landry, I'm paying $40 a week for you to go learn these moves. I need to see those moves.
I better see a step back or a Euro step or something.
Bro, otherwise, I'm not paying for the move.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You learn the move, you use the move.
Hey, that's awesome.
You know, it's not like, hey, just go goof around for $40.
It's just, I just think it's important to like across when we have the youth sports conversation to put things into perspective.
Yeah.
Like no high school coach is going to be like, hey, what'd you shoot from 3 on Thunder Supreme in 7th grade? Nobody cares.
Yeah, just
like,
the moms care.
It doesn't mean anything. It honestly doesn't. Like, it's the same thing of, so I would help out with high school tryouts every now and then, and I coach the high schoolers before their season starts in baseball, and like we just do BP and stuff. And you have these guys that show up before tryouts that are like decked out in their Dominator stuff. And you have kids that are decked out in their Lincoln Sox gear and all these select baseball, the Prospects, which is one of the showcase teams in the summer for baseball. And it's like, I don't care if as coaches, you don't care if they came from the Dominators. You don't care if they came from the Junior Saw Dogs. You don't care if they played Babe Ruth and Cal Ripken League. It's how can they play?
Right.
You can wear all the gear you want. You can have all the custom jerseys. You can have all that. I don't care what hat you're wearing, because at the end of the day, are you good enough to wear a high school hat?
Right.
Are you good enough to wear the Norris gear? Are you good enough? That's all we care about.
Exactly.
So guess what? You can go in and spend the $12,000, but if you don't have the investment, not financial, the emotional investment from the kid, you're just wasting your money. Go back to the Roth IRA.
No, the only thing I was going to say that as a parent that I made one decision, especially with Jax playing football, is Norris also has a football program, right? They have a junior football program, and at the time, I forget what it was called, but it doesn't matter. They have their own program down there, and they and it's separate from.
It's a feeder.
Yeah, it's separate from the midget program, or I don't know what the Lincoln Youth Football now, right?
Yep.
The only decision I made is I wanted Jax to play here.
Yeah,
and I told Jax, and he will tell you this now, and Kenner was support. I said, look, here's the deal. I don't want you to fall into this Class B mentality. Well, we're Class B and they're Class A. And I'm like, Class A boys put their pants on just like Class B do.
Class D all the way down.
And
Absolutely.
Class A kids can get knocked the hell out just like a not Class B. So you need to know. So I made him play up here in Lincoln Youth so he could play with all the kids that are going to Lincoln High and Southeast and all that.
Right.
But knowing he was going to play at Norris and knowing that, look, man, you played with all the great kids of Lincoln. So
you can hold your own.
Yeah, the Danny Kalins and all those kids or whatever, I'm just dropping names, but
yeah, of course.
You're at a Class B school, but I want you to have the mentality, we're at Norris, we're Class B, it's okay. It's like, no. You've strapped up, you've defended that kid, or you could play press. Now, then Class B, it's different.
I would have loved to see like Scut girls basketball go up against Millard West.
Yeah,
like in a state title. Like I would love to see those matchups because I think it's more even than people give it credit for.
Well, Crowbait here says, he agrees. I won't say the school, but he goes, that's what I think about XY school. So many kids play when they get high school, only a number of them are going to be able to play. And, Crowbait, you're spot on with the conversation, man. And I think also, I'll say this before we're just going to, wrap it up. I'll say this too. The kids got to have some talent too. I mean, like you said, you can buy all the
you got to put the numbers up.
Yeah, the kids can have he or she can have all the desire in the world and push them, say, have fun now. But I think honesty is something to have with them too.
Yeah, and you can't say, my kid would have had 27 points if the coach played him, or would have had if the refs didn't do it.
With a joystick in their hand, maybe.
Yeah. It's like if they weren't playing Fortnite, if they weren't.
Hey, it's something you say. I'm going to say this. And
don't make fun of Fortnite.
Hey, and I say this when I speak in high schools and colleges a lot. I bring up an image on the PowerPoint of a Fortnite, Snapchat, Instagram. And I say, how many spend time on Snapchat? Oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah. How many spend a lot of hours playing Fortnite? Oh, man, I love that game. I said, cool. I said, if you gave that same amount of time and dedication to your academics and athletics, would it improve? Man, the room gets quiet.
Hey, real quick before we go to add on to that, Jax came home and my kids are guilty as charged on those video games, right? Now they limit it, but Jax came home. When he came home last time, he told Landry, I don't have time for Fortnite, right? I have, because he just said, look, and he even said, Dad, I don't have time for video games. Like he didn't even take his whatever equipment to the Air Force game. He's like, I don't have time for games, man. I got time for books.
Hey, I love this with Money G. Crazy how things have changed over the last 10 years or so. Growing up in Southwest Nebraska, mid-'80s, we didn't even have high school baseball.
only played about 30 games in the summer. They do that in a week now.
Hey, that's not
he
a
goes,
thing.
holy cow, how did I ever get a baseball scholarship?
Yep.
I love it, Money G.
All right, my friend, we got 30 seconds.
Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to get that FM dial hooked up soon. Like I said, that's totally out of our control.
some
Got
point.
the folks out there repairing that. I want to thank Jay Gates again for coming in for this morning, man. Always appreciate you. Definitely going to have you back again because there's a lot more we can dig out from this as well. Matt Hop, real fast. Shout out to Lincoln City football. Went to Raymond Central and played midget football for police. I'm still friends with some of the guys that played football in Lincoln. That was 25 years ago. 2-time city champs as well. D team and A team.
5 seconds.
Out. Matt Hop, I love it. Folks, we're out. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines, unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ